speaker, tentatively, it's not for sure, is Don Eretz, who works at JCC. He's Israeli. He's going to talk about the Jews of Morocco. And that's going to be our May meeting. The schedule was a mess because there was a bunch of stuff going on, so we're actually thinking of having like a weeknight on the evening, like a Wednesday or Thursday. How many people would actually show up on a weeknight evening? Fair amount. Okay, so you watch your emails and we'll keep you posted. So today we are having the meeting we should have had in January, but with a blizzard. Buffalo weather just does not cooperate. Which has got a 4-month delay, which is nothing compared to our last speaker, Mark Poloncarz, who was a 4-year delay. So you guys got off easy. Our speakers are Rob Goldberg and Blaine Schwartz. Rob Goldberg is the what are you, director, CEO of the Buffalo Jewish Federation. He's been doing that for a bunch of years. He's from Buffalo and he's involved in all kinds of stuff. And other speakers, Blaine Schwartz, he's an attorney with this, whatever they are. He's a former president of Beth Am, our previous incarnation here, and a long-time Jewish Law member. And we're glad to have them. They'll talk about the trip, but it was basically a federation trip. You've done several now, to Israel and other places, and this was to the United Arab Emirates, which sounded really, I talked to Blaine and Rob about it, sounded like a really good trip. So I don't go there. So I had this trip all planned out for last November, and then suddenly this war started in Gaza. My family said, "You want to go to the Middle East?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "No." So didn't happen, but hope to one day. So I'll turn it over to these guys.
All right, thank you. You don't have to applaud. Oh, go ahead, finish.
A big thank you to Chris Cohen, where's Chris, for coming in at 8:30 in the morning to help me set up all the food. Thank you, Chris.
Dan clearly pre-writes all of his material. So I want to start by telling you a little story. So 1,500 people happened to show up at a wedding. The guests include ambassadors from Ireland, Egypt, and China. Arab sheikhs are there with Jews and Muslims. You know what the wedding's for? It's for the chief rabbi of the United Arab Emirates. And the wedding features Arabs, Christians, and Jews hoisting Rabbi Dutchman in a chair high above those attending the wedding. The wedding in Dubai, one of the 7 nation states that make up the United Arab Emirates. A little bit of trivia about the United Arab Emirates, because everybody knows that it is clearly an Arab nation. Number one, anybody know how many Jews live in the United Arab Emirates? Any wild guesses?
3 million.
Well, the 1,000 was close because it's 3,000 Jews. The best estimate is 3,000, most of whom, by the way, came after the Abraham Accords were signed. And I'm not sure if you know what the Abraham Accords are, but it's a series of agreements that normalize diplomatic relations among Israel, the UAE, Morocco, Sudan, and Bahrain. And it opened the door to a wide range of economic cooperation and investment. Here's question number 2. Anybody have any idea how many kosher restaurants there are in the UAE? We know how many we think there are in Buffalo, but those go to 3. 1. Any other guesses?
5.
The 5 is a lot closer. At last estimate, I looked last night actually to confirm, there are 12 kosher restaurants in Dubai alone. There are also kosher restaurants in Abu Dhabi. There's one at the base of the world's tallest building, the 163-floor Burj Khalifa. There's also, by the way, a terrific kosher caterer. It was owned by a Moroccan Christian woman. And this woman and her caterers actually followed us around as we went from place to place, and they brought us food. And it was probably among the best Mediterranean food I've ever had. Now, how do 3,000 Jews support 12 kosher restaurants? for Israelis that are leaving their country to go on vacation. Now what happened because of the Abraham Accords is because Dubai is a 4-hour plane ride from 4 billion people, it's a perfect place for Israeli businessmen, business people I should say, to partner with Emiratis to build and deliver products throughout the world.
You spill that, you're in trouble.
I'm gonna have to pay for the table right now.
No, the carpet. You'll need new carpet.
And they'll need new carpet, yeah. So many Israeli companies, by the way, now partner with
I got a
Emiratis.
question here.
Yes.
The Jews that are there, are they mainly Sephardic Jews?
I have no idea, you know? So we were fortunate enough, we met with one of the Emirati business leaders that I know that Rob's going to talk about in a little while. But one side note, which is actually pretty relevant today, is that the Emiratis don't like the Palestinians. Oh, see, that's a good response. Anyone know why they don't like the Palestinians? Any guesses? They're bad for business. In the United Arab Emirates, it's all about business. It's all about making money. So, an Arab on a Palestinian passport cannot enter the UAE. So in fact, the fellow that we met with, one of his partners is Palestinian, and I think he had to enter on a Jordanian passport, he was saying, but he can't enter on his Palestinian passport. He can't tell anybody that he's Palestinian while he's there. Another note, by the way, that Dubai, they want to have the biggest and the best of everything. So we already talked about the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world. We didn't even talk about they have the largest shopping mall in the world if you like to shop. They have incredible museums. They have in Abu Dhabi a branch of the Louvre and a branch of the Guggenheim Museum. It is just an amazing place. Wait till you see the photos in a couple of minutes. But it's not all fun and games. So there are definitely haves and have-nots, and I happen to know one of the have-nots who was asked to leave the country because a friend of mine's wife, he was a surgeon, and his wife kind of ticked off one of the Emiratis, and Emiratis actually called the shots. Now there's about 10 million people, I think it was 10 million that live in the United Arab Emirates, and only about 10% of them are actually Emiratis. The rest of them are guest workers that come, they make a lot of money, they're treated well, but you better follow the rules. And if you don't follow the rules and if you're asked to leave, there's a problem. You're never going to come back into the country, and your family's never going to come back into the country. So when you get there, it's clean, it's been brought around in Porsches, it's a friendly country. Everybody will tell you that there's not a lot of liquor there. I can tell you that there's a great deal of liquor there. You just have to go to a hotel bar. But here's what happens with the guest workers. So the guest workers are from countries like the Congo, etc. And what happens is they come in and they're from poor, destitute countries. And they work for 10 months a year. And they make a lot of money and they send the money home. So then they go home to visit their families for 1 or 2 months a year. We met people that have been doing this for 15 or 20 years who have only seen their families for 1 or 2 months a year. So it's a very, very difficult situation. But it's clear that the Emiratis call the shots while you're there. So what do you get for going to the UAE if you're a guest worker or an Emirati? You get clean streets, you get very little if any crime, you get good pay, you get basically everything they can't get at home. Just don't tick off an Emirati. And in fact, when we were riding by one of the taxis we were riding around in, the taxi driver told us that there was a regulator on his speedometer, and that if he went over the speed limit, they would mail him a ticket. And if he got so many tickets, he would be asked to leave the country, wouldn't be allowed in. And that's why you don't ask a taxi driver in the Emirates to like rush it or get you there somewhere fast. They will not do that. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that anti-Semitism is illegal in the United Arab Emirates. If you are convicted, I use the word convicted loosely because in the United Arab Emirates all it takes is an Emirati to complain and you're going to leave. But if you get accused of anti-Semitism and you're a guest worker in the United Arab Emirates, you're typically asked to leave the country. So the Emiratis, though, are treated like gold. They can go anywhere in the world to get a free education. The country will pay for it. When they get married, they get a plot of land for their house. And you find out that a lot of these Emiratis live in houses, large houses, with their extended families that have been built up over the years. They're treated very, very well. But they clearly rule the roost. So our way, was led by Randy Morkes from the Federation, also by Rob, who's did a phenomenal job. And I will tell you, it was one of the best trips I've ever been on. And the reason why it was so good, there were more than 20 people on it, but you go on a lot of trips, and you know how people kind of click up and get together and stuff like that? Well, on this trip, nobody did that. Everybody had a great time. Everybody interacted with everybody else. We all bonded beautifully. It was a phenomenal trip. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rob, because Rob got some pictures, and he's going to show you exactly what I've been talking about and tell you a lot more about it.
Thanks, everyone. And just to add one other thing, the reason why they have these large homes and land that can be expanded is because polygamy is legal among the Emiratis. So they can have multiple wives, the male Emiratis. We're going to introduce you in a moment to our tour guide, who was a very strong Muslim woman, and she made sure that her husband is not interested in expanding the family and getting another wife. She said, hey, I'm the only wife. So even though it's legal, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's happening all the time. So here's the first slide. First of all, our purpose is to get you so excited that you all want to go to Dubai, because it's easy to get to. It's an incredibly great experience. You feel safer as a Jew in the streets of Dubai than you might in New York City. I mean, that was sort of our experience. You can wear a kippah everywhere. No one says boo. And again, since anti-Semitism is illegal, you feel a particular level of safety that you may not in other parts of the world. It's really quite extraordinary. So here's a little Lego guy that I think, sure, you took that picture in the airport or something, but I love Dubai. That was sort of our theme. So first of all, there I am with Blaine. You can see Buffalo Jewish Federation. We put that in the front of our bus. Very proud to have that displayed, not worried about it at all. And then we've got the Shatkins, if you know Joni and Sam and Marilyn Schumann. We were all in that picture. But we wanted to tell you something about the weather. So we went in February. It was 83 degrees. It was perfect. You only want to go to this part of the country like between December 1st and the end of March. After that, it's so hot that there's a concern actually in terms of the treatment of workers that it could get over 110, 150 degrees in the summer, and you've got all these foreign workers that are there, and they've got measures in place to make sure that they're not overheating or whatever. They can take time in the afternoon. There's other kinds of things, because a lot of them are in construction, and you're going to see in a moment what's been built there. So beautiful, beautiful weather. We had great weather the entire week. It was wonderful. All right, so this was like early on. Honestly, this was an option for some of us, and we took advantage of it. Shira and Blaine and myself, and this group here, you can see Randy, Lori Sadler, Lana Benetovich, the Weinbergs. I don't know if you can see other people, but what we did is we took a tour bus for a couple of hours. Our driver, by the way, was Egyptian, and we talked to him a lot. And same experience as Blaine explained. Single man, loves living in Dubai, could not make a living in Egypt as a tour guide, came and is a driver for this group. And this was an expedition where we did falconry. Falconry, like a falcon. So the falcon is like the state bird in the UAE. And what we learned is that falcons were used by the Bedouins, because again, this is a Bedouin culture. So when you see pictures of the Emiratis dressed in their garb, it is not Arab garb. It's Bedouin garb, where you can see that they need to protect themselves from the sand, etc., from the heat. Anyway, so the falcons were used to actually obtain meat for people to eat in the desert. So falcons would fly over the UAE area geographically during their migration. They would train them during that period to, once they killed rodents or whatever they killed, they trained them to be able to bring food so that they could have meat while they were there in the desert. So it was pretty interesting. But we had an amazing, first of all, they give us head coverings. We're in these cool Jeeps. They deflate the tires of the Jeeps so that the Jeeps can go on sand, which is also interesting. We also did some a little bit later, which was crazy, where we did in the dunes. They would be driving recklessly, and it gave us the thrill of our life. But they deflate the tires so that the Jeep is able to maneuver in the desert. And so we were in this area. We had a delicious breakfast, and then we experienced the falcons, which we don't have pictures of, but it was amazing. And there's some great videos of the falcons coming to you, and they gave us all an opportunity to wear this protective covering on our arm, and then the guy who was leading us would have the falcon or a snowy white owl, eagles, other kinds of birds of prey that would come, and they would rest right on our hand because we always had a little bit of food in our fingers, I think, pretty sure. And we had one bad incident where one of the birds, got excited about the person that he landed on, which was a woman on our trip. It was a pretty scary moment. But other than that, it was fun, it was great, we had a great time. So it was great. So this just gives you a feel. You'll see that the middle picture could be Israel, could be India, because we went to a spice market to talk about the workers. So we went to one area, there's a port, and if you can look on a map and you see where Dubai is, and again, I think Blaine referenced the fact that it's in this incredible location on the globe that within a 4-hour flying radius, you can reach almost half of the world's population. So just imagine how you can get goods to every part of the world, from the airport. The airport is enormous, by the way, gorgeous, beautiful, accessible, and enormous. But a lot of these foreign workers, they're called foreigners, by the way, or workers, or non-citizens, and they love being there. But a lot of them are from India, from Pakistan, from Sri Lanka. That's like the largest group, and then there's those from the Congo and other places. So we went to a spice market. That's the middle picture. On the left side is Cheryl and Irv Stein. I don't know if you know them. So because they keep strictly kosher, we actually designed the entire trip to make sure they and others who kept kosher would be accommodated. And it was easy because, as Blaine indicated, the number of kosher restaurants and how friendly and open the community is to people who are traditional Jews. They had a great time. Cheryl had some guy that she knew and was able to get this Lamborghini that a bunch of us had an opportunity just to drive with her. So that was sort of a fun part of the day. I actually drove with her on the highway, and as Blaine was saying, people are very conscientious about their speed, and people use their signal, whatever, except we were going a little bit too slow, and this guy went past us and gave us the finger. And so Cheryl and I laughed about it because it was the only moment that we had that there was like a reckless driver. Other than that, everyone was so well behaved in terms of being on the highways or whatever. And then the other picture was when we went on the falconry trip. We were in a nature preserve, and there's all of those ibex, so mountain goats. There were thousands and thousands of mountain goats everywhere. They were the most beautiful animals. So that just gives you a picture. But it feels very much like the Middle East. Again, if you've been to Israel, you've probably seen ibex as well. So one of the cool things is that dates come from this region of the world. And so we went to a date market in Abu Dhabi. So Abu Dhabi is another one of the Emirates. And Abu Dhabi is a little bit more of a religious area, I would say. The largest mosque in the world is in Abu Dhabi. We went to it. You're going to see a picture in a moment. We also went to the Louvre Museum, so this extension of the Louvre in France, where they have a lot of artwork that's been on loan, and we went to that. It was great. But also in Abu Dhabi, it was not completed when we were there. It's now open. There was the Abraham House. So the Abraham House were these 3 beautiful buildings representing the 3 major religions of the world that now you can go visit in Abu Dhabi. So that there's a house for Islam, a house for Christianity, and a house for Judaism, and they're all magnificent. They're all in the same area, right by the date farm. So anyway, just wanted to show you this incredible thing. And by the way, if you look on the left side, there's a lot of different kinds of dates. And we tried different ones. And it's so much fun. You go in, they give you dates to try, and of course they want to sell you dates to take home, which you can because they keep well in the suitcase. So that's the date farm. So these were 4 men who are our drivers when we went this dune buggy. It's called you remember what it's called? You remember what it's called, Sharon? It was scary. So we all got in these Jeeps. These drivers were nuts. They were nuts, and they wanted to scare you as much as possible. So you would be driving up the dunes. You're at the precipice of the dune, and then they would go down as fast as they could, and you'd be rocking back and forth. And they were having the time of their life. You know, they thought it was the greatest thing because that's what they do for a living. But here, we just thought we would have a picture. But you can see what they're wearing. Again, not to be confused with Arab garb. This is Bedouin garb in terms of the head coverings and things like that. Okay?
Question about those men.
Yeah.
Where would be their birthplace? Where would be, were they born and raised in the?
Yeah, I think you talked to our guy. I assume, first of all, he spoke pretty well, pretty good English. I think that they were native to the land, you know, but they weren't Emiratis.
Right.
Okay, they're probably Bedouins, but they weren't necessarily part of the royal family. That's what an Emirati is. So there's these million Emiratis. They're very different. These guys did not live in those big houses though. Okay.
So,
But I don't think these were foreign workers though.
so all the Emiratis are royal family.
Yeah, they're all interconnected to each other. By the way, there's one of the people who went on our trip, Lori Sadler, is a geneticist, and there's actually concern within the UAE in terms of genetic disorders like we suffer from as Ashkenaz Jews, where there's been so much inbreeding, right? So we're all from central Ukraine, give or take, which was Russia at the time, and so there's a lot of that. So I think Lori told us she's got friends in the industry that do work in the United Arab Emirates because of the concern of the genetic diseases in there. Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Can people move in, can people marry into the Emirati family?
Yes, yes.
Is that allowed?
Yeah, yeah. There are those cases, but I think they're pretty much, they marry each other. But we did ask that question of our guide, Huda, who you're going to meet in a moment, and she did tell us that people can marry in. So an Emirati male can marry a woman who's a non-Emirati, and then she becomes a part of his family. That can happen. Doesn't happen frequently, but it can happen. Okay?
Just a point, you mentioned the temperature being 83. I had a client who's from Dubai. When they were gonna buy a house, they said that they wanted a large house because where they live, you can get up to 64 degrees. And I'm thinking, like, what's the problem?
Celsius, right. So we were very blessed. We had a great tour company, Israeli tour company that we worked with, and our tour guide was a woman named Huda. Huda was a religious Muslim, and very unusual. Not all Emiratis are Muslim in terms of their religious practice. That's probably, they are Muslim, but they're not necessarily religious. She was a religious woman, and she was extraordinary, and we got insights into her life. The women on the trip in particular, because there were a number of places, like we went into a couple of mosques, where the women and the men were separated in terms of getting ready and having to go through. And I think you, Sherry, you were with her when she actually took off her outer covering and she wore this gorgeous dress, and she was telling you all a lot about her life. So I think the women got a lot of insights into her daily life, being a mom and a wife, etc. But she was amazing. You could ask her anything. She would not talk about sex, and she wouldn't talk about religion. I think those were her two no-nos. So, and it wasn't because it was illegal. That was her standard in terms of that. But you could ask her any other question. She was amazing, and so she really added a lot to our trip. Here's a picture of the men that are on the trip, and that's a little bit of a better picture of Huda. It's in the lobby of one of the hotels, but we wanted to show it to you because if you can see at the top, there's pictures of the four sheiks. Those are like the four leaders of the nation at this present time. The Emiratis are the leaders of the nation. And so there's Huda with all of us. We had a great time.
Well, I said that he fed intelligence with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a contrast. On the right side, we're all sitting on the ground. We're in a beautiful mosque in Dubai. And the woman who's telling us about the mosque was actually a British woman, non-Arab, who became Muslim. She was fantastic. The mosque was very accessible. We felt very comfortable there. It did not feel like a foreign environment. If anything, there were a lot of commonalities So, as you know, Muslims pray 6 times a day according to a lunar calendar. And so in every mosque, there's all the times, the prayer times, not so dissimilar from Orthodox Judaism, where you pray in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and there's different times according to the time of the year. So that was really interesting. We loved it. It was a very modest mosque. It wasn't enormous. It was very comfortable. It was a working mosque, but they also had a beautiful gift shop and some other things associated with it. On the left side is in Abu Dhabi. That's just an entrance to the largest mosque in the world. So it's on the left side. That's just an outdoor shot. It's a really pretty shot. There's a picture we're going to show you towards the end, and we'll tell you a little bit about how we got inside that mosque. It was a really interesting experience. So as Blaine mentioned,
A donut shop.
yes, everything in Dubai is big. So this is our joke. The buildings are taller, the highways are wider, the water is wetter. Because in Dubai, they have a complex on some level. They want to be the best, the biggest, the most ingenious, and we experience that. And when you're there, it is remarkable. So these are just 2 examples of amazing pieces of architecture. But on the right side is a museum that we went into. It's the Museum of Innovation or Innovation. It was pretty extraordinary. That's just an outdoor shot of it, but we were inside it. It was pretty amazing. And then the building on the left is a rectangle that you can see from the highway, which we did not go in, but it was really pretty cool. But this is just to give you an example of the cool architecture. And then there's Blaine. I wanted to make sure we had as many pictures of Blaine as possible. So this one, you have to look very carefully to the right. So, by the way, on the left, we're in this magnificent building in what's called the Palms. So this is a man-made area, and you go in this building and they tell you how they made this particular extraordinary piece of property. But if you look on the right side behind Blaine, there's a main central highway, and can you see, like, going off to each side look like streets? And that's all man-made. This is all on water. It took years and years to make. It's ingenious. And they show you how they do it. So on the left side, I took this picture on the left side. So this was in that building, as with all great wonders, one man's vision saw what the world was yet to imagine. So there's something about them as human beings wanting to create this extraordinary and alter the environment in such a way. Go ahead.
Are you above the clouds? The sign's above the clouds, right on the left?
No, that's just a picture that's on the wall. That's part of the photograph. That's part of the picture of the clouds. The idea was, yes, you have to be thinking a little bit beyond what is normative. But so if you look there, so the very back, you can see the palm branches coming off, and in the very back there's a hotel. And we went to a restaurant in the hotel. So the hotel is what's the name of it? It's the Atlantic Show. The hotel was not open yet, but we went to a restaurant that was about to open. It was a 3-star Michelin restaurant, and we had a pretty extraordinary meal in the restaurant. But one of the most fun things is that Randy and my wife Shira were in the lobby, and there were fountains. There was a 2-story aquarium that was in the lobby. Everything was like bigger and crazier, and it was just wild. And so they were sitting on these beautiful items that looked like you could sit on them, but they actually were not. They were art, and they got scolded. You get off that, right? Quite honestly, you don't remember? I remember. Anyway, so this was an incredible area, but you can see the Atlantis in the back, and people live on. All the Emiratis have homes along there, not the commoners, not the foreigners, but the Emiratis. Anyway. They should. The engineering is remarkable. So it's rocks and sand, and it takes years and years, but they had this vision that they were going to build this out, and you can see a film on how they did it. So when you're inside this particular tall building, which was built purposely so you could look out and you could see it all, they show you how they do it. It's pretty amazing engineering.
Pirates. They brought these pirates
I'm sure there was some kind of thing, but it was mostly rocks and sand and other things. Yeah,
Well,
and
how close are you to Iraq?
very close. Yeah, so it's a 3-hour sort of slow boat ride. So at the port where we were in Dubai, so the Emirates comes up to a point and there's the Arabian Sea, often referred to as the Persian Gulf. They don't call it the Persian Gulf, they call it the Arabian Sea. So Persia, Iran, is right north of the very tip of Dubai, of the city, and there's a lot of trade that goes back and forth by boat. So when we were in this harbor area, there were all of these old boats that would transport goods through Dubai up to Iran. And they're very concerned about Iran and its power. So that's one of the reasons on some level I think having that relationship with Israel is in the best interest of the Emiratis. Remember, the Abrahamic Accords is not a peace treaty. There was never not peace between the two nations. It's all economic. It's an economic understanding of principles that allow this sort of free trade and this flow back and forth and the tourism and all those kinds of things. Okay. All right, so we mentioned earlier the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa. It's right in the middle, and we've got some great pictures. They light it up. They do amazing things. This kosher restaurant's on the 3rd floor. You could go to the balcony of the kosher restaurant, and every night there's a light show in like the mezzanine area. It's really pretty extraordinary. But you can see all of these amazing big buildings, and then you can see to the top. So there's a very famous commercial for Emirates Airlines where they actually show how they made the commercial. Do you know this commercial?
What was on the top of the building?
Correct. It's one of the Emirati flight attendants. By the way, the Emirate Airlines is phenomenal. I mean, it's a phenomenal airline. They are, all of the women are dressed in this, Emirati garb. It's really quite extraordinary. But there's a picture of her on the very top where she's strapped in and the wind is blowing. It's really cool. And also Mission Impossible, I think the second one, maybe? I can't remember which one. But there's a scene like at the top of that building in one of the Mission Impossible movies. So it's pretty famous.
And that scene is real, by the way. That scene in Mission Impossible
Yeah.
was real. He
Right.
actually climbed to the top of the building. It was not CGI.
Here's just a couple of pictures. You can just see how they changed the look of it, and you can see the lights. I mean, it's just incredible. So, again, it's an amazing building. We went to the very top. It was really a lot of fun. So, in terms of Jewish life, you heard a little bit about the great wedding that took place. So, on the right side is a Chabad rabbi in Dubai. So, Chabad came to the UAE, and they're everywhere. And they're all related to each other, right? They're all like sons of and cousins and whatever. And then on the left side, they have a early childhood program called Mini Miracles. And so the woman who runs the early childhood program, who I want to say is British, was there, and you can see that we're sitting. It's a beautiful, beautiful space. It was not built from scratch. They were able to purchase or been given a beautiful building where we saw the preschool. There were no kids there that day, but it was really fun. And then just a picture of the rabbi. It was a really sweet guy. We did have Shabbat dinner at the Chabad, his Chabad, on the first Friday that we were there. We could walk from our hotel, which was great. Again, you could walk with a kippah on, which was pretty cool. And we ate outside because it was hot that evening. We had a wonderful dinner, and we interacted with some of the people who were part of the Chabad. What was so interesting, they were not allowed to have religious services. It's against the law to have religious services in that space unless it's actually a synagogue, and it was not a synagogue, it was a home. So they do like a modified series of blessings. But we thought we were going to go and have Kabbalat Shabbat and then have dinner with them. It wasn't that way. But we met a lot of interesting people. We met people associated with the caterers. We met Israelis, other Jews from around the world who have sort of found their way to Dubai to work and to live. So this was very cool. The man on the right is an Emirati, and you can see his dress, white, again, Bedouin dress. This man is so unique, he created his own museums. And so it was just remarkable. One, we got to go to his museum. He gave us a tour of the museum. There was like 7 or different exhibitions. We all walked through many of them. The history of the land. He's got incredible artifacts, but all private. And then we saw his exhibition about the Holocaust. He's talking to us there to the right. He's having a conversation with Peter Wyman there on the bottom. They were engrossed in the conversation because we went to his house afterwards for lunch. We brought in our own kosher food. So the kosher caterer was there, had everything on display, and we came in and we ate in his living room, which was really quite extraordinary. He also had a number of very old vintage automobiles. And so he was very proud of the fact that he owned, I don't know, maybe a dozen beautiful vintage cars. But he was a great guy. It was a cool experience. Towards the end of the trip, we were in Abu Dhabi. We met with this Emirati who's a businessman, and he really revealed to us insights about the relationship with Israelis. And he told us this amazing story, which will give you a sense of culture. He said his first introduction, they're having a call with some potential economic partners in Israel, and it's a Zoom call. And he gets on the Zoom, and these Israelis are screaming at each other, as Israelis are wont to do. And they were arguing and yelling, and they were rude to each other, and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm in this setting. We're going to do business with these people? Look how they treat each other. And then they explained, this is how we talk to each other, because he told us that in his culture, that would be a sign of disrespect, that there's always this level of respect when you speak to each other. So it was this real contrast. The fact that the UAE has developed and forged this economic partnership with Israel is remarkable, given the fact that the cultures are so different in terms of how one communicates, etc. What he also told us, this was a great insight, he said, Israelis are amazing in the space, in the innovation space. They create these new products, but they're really bad at logistics. How do you get that product to market? And it's not a strength of Israel, but there is a strength in Israel in terms of creating the product. In the UAE, they're really good with logistics, right? They get how to distribute. And so the marriage between Israel and the UAE has really borne fruit because they're so different in terms of their approaches, but they work cooperatively with each other. So I thought that was an interesting thing. Anything else that he said that you remember?
No, just about the Palestinians that I talked about earlier.
Yeah, so the other thing about the Palestinians, he told us that when he went to Israel, he does not dress the way he dresses when he's in Israel, because Palestinians see Emiratis as traitors, because they have forged a relationship with Israel, and Israel is the enemy. So that's also very uncomfortable. So they were very careful when they would come to Israel visit. But it was a great conversation. Also, this guy, British educated, married, I want to say a British woman who married an Emirati, and so therefore she was a part. That was the question about, I think he was the one who told us that they married and had a couple of kids. He was fantastic. Elizabeth, yes. I can't believe you remember that. This goes back, this is sort of out of order, but this was the falconry that we showed you at the very beginning. So there's our guide on the left. You can see that amazing falcon that he's got in his hand. And then here's Blaine, and he's got one, and they wear, you've seen these, they wear these head coverings so they can't see, right? That's sort of to the right of their eyes. So you can see so the head covering, they take the head covering off when they demonstrate how they go back and forth. It's pretty cool. There's a reason for that too. You have recollection? Why? I don't know. So maybe so they don't get distracted. That area where Blaine is also an area where we had this delicious outdoor breakfast. And then on the right, we also had camel rides. If you've ever ridden a camel in Israel, like down in the Negev, they're old camels. The guides are Bedouins. They're all high. They're almost smoking pot all day. And the camels, they don't seem like they're well maintained, but they're there for tourists and they're fun. These camels were so well groomed, cared for, clean. They wore masks. They had these coverings over their mouths so they wouldn't spit on you. It was amazing. Even the camels, There's camel races, but only the Emiratis can participate in these camel races. And they used to use children as the jockeys. They don't do that anymore because it's dangerous. They're mechanical. So on the camels, there's some kind of device that is controlled by someone in another location as they race, so that no one will get hurt. Yeah, they're remote control, but they're real camels. Yeah. No, no, no.
In the middle, that looks ancient, so they're all ancient things, sites.
No, not at all. It's completely fabricated. It's in a piece of desert. It's this gorgeous outdoor facility, like you would want to live there. That's how beautiful it was.
You know, there's one thing there that really stood out was there was this very nice modern bathroom there. And we couldn't figure out how it got there. And what we heard was that they actually ran the water and the sewer pipe to one of the Emirati sheikh's palaces that was miles away in the desert. And that's how they built it.
In that area of the desert, it was a park. So we were in the middle of like a reserve. There was one of the sheikh's palaces. There's also a very nice hotel right smack dab in the middle. And then there was this, area. Go ahead, Robert.
Was Blaine creepy when he had to tell them?
No, he loved every minute of it. And the birds loved him. All right, so this was our group picture. I have two last pictures. So this was at the dunes. So when we did this dune bugging, I think that's what it was called, dune bugging. This was afterwards. We survived. No one died. We had a great time in the sand, and you can see Huda there in the middle, next to Lana Bentovich. It was just great. We had such a good time. All right. So this is the funniest thing ever. Right? We love this. So you're driving along Dubai, and there's a Domino's Pizza, there's a Taco Bell, there's a Tim Hortons. This was in the basement of a mall that we had to access to get to the largest mosque in the world. It was a mile long. So we're underground, we had to go through security, and then we're in this underground mall, and we have to go all the way to get to the mosque. And there's this Tim Hortons cafe and bake shop. We just thought it was, no one was there. There was no one having coffee. But we thought it was the greatest thing. We just wanted to show you a picture of all of us in front of the Tim Hortons. It's like one of the best parts of the trip was seeing the Tim Hortons. And in Arabic over on the right side. That's it. Any questions for Blaine or myself? Okay, we'll go left to right. Robert, we'll start with you.
Are you doing another trip there? Yes.
So this was pretty cool. We decided the moment the Abrahamic Accords were signed, we've got to jump on the bandwagon. We've got to get Jews to go there, because we've never been able to go. I mean, you could go in the past, and there are, like Marilyn Schumann had been a couple of times with her husband Herb years and years ago. I think there could have been some business transaction, but for the most part, we wouldn't go. But we wanted people to go. I don't know. It's a good question of whether we're going to go again. We've got a group right now in Poland. We've got 24 people as we speak who are in Poland. And yeah, it's our roots trip. So we're trying different things. But hey, if there's a demand, we can absolutely pull this off. It was great. Go ahead.
Considering the turmoil in the Middle East, what's the security like there?
Yeah, I actually know somebody who went over there a few weeks ago, who went over on business, and told me that she went with her husband to a conference, and she said that she didn't feel that anything had changed. Again, with that, it's
that you could see on our way from Dubai to Abu Dhabi, and they left it there purposely. So it was an Emirati contractor who, in the course of building the building, was stealing from the workers. He was arrested, and they kept the building intact. Half, you can see the cranes, you can see everything. They left it just as is, as an example of this is what happens to you if you don't follow the law. So again, even Emiratis have the law that they have to follow. It's not just for the foreign workers.
Do they fear Iran at all? Right? Anything like that?
Yeah, the very last guy that we spoke with said that Iran is a tremendous threat all the time to
Do
them.
they have an army here or no? Do they have a military?
They do. They didn't talk much about it, so I don't know its strength. I don't think it's a particularly strong
No
one,
weapons
but
or anything that stop anything coming in? Nothing.
they didn't reveal any of
I
that
think
to
one
us.
of the things they talked about was they said they have security pacts with other nations. So that was something that one of the people we spoke with did talk about.
Gary?
A while ago, you said it's real easy to get there. How do you get there?
You can,
Oh,
yeah, you can fly.
No, I understand.
You can fly direct from New York. So you can fly Emirates. Emirates is a great airline. You can fly direct. After the trip, Cher and I participated in a civic leaders trip to Israel, and flying from Dubai to Israel was so easy. It was a short flight and there's a time difference. So it was a 3 to 4 hour flight with a 2 hour time difference. So, but yeah, it was a long trip. It was a 14-hour journey. So if you can and you go, you want to upgrade, fly Emirates and be in the lap of luxury. But yeah, that's the way I would go. There's other airlines that go there. Again, the airport is enormous. It's busy. It's really a hub for that part of the.
But it's nonstop from.
Yep, nonstop from New York, 14 hours. Yep, JFK.
I was wondering, did you see any synagogues in your travels?
No. The only sort of Jewish sites was where we had Shabbat dinner, which was not a synagogue, but it was a Chabad. And the Chabad family lived there, and they were really there to welcome guests most of the time. And then we saw this preschool, which also was run by Chabad. And then there's this new, Jewish house among the 3 that are in Abu Dhabi. But there were no synagogues that we saw.
Do you think there are any?
What they talked about was they had a room actually in one of the hotels, and they would meet. It was a relatively small room, but if the rabbis were going to hold services or anybody wanted to have a religious ceremony, they would go to this room. It was at one of the 4-star hotels, so it wasn't like a tour level thing, but that's how they would hold services. So religions are tolerated there, but heavily controlled.
Yeah, actually, it was in the same space that we met the Emirati business person that you saw that picture of him. They had prayer books in the closet there in the corner. It was lovely in that hotel. Yeah.
We recently came back from a trip to Africa, and we were in Botswana, and they said they do multiple marriage, multiple wives. But the rule was that they had to have permission from the first wife or from the other wife, and the girls had to agree on who was coming in. Was it similar?
Yeah, I think that's what Huda indicated to us. So the question was about polygamy and having additional wives. From what Huda shared with us, our tour guide, yes, she would have to okay having her husband take a second wife, and she said absolutely not. I'm at, take it or leave it, I think was what she had to say. Dan?
I'm assuming that their wealth is from oil. Is that true? And is the economy still dependent on oil?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think there is alfalfa is like the only product that is grown, and it's usually fed. I think it's fed to the camels. I think they have camels, but yes, it's all oil money, and it's oil now and tourism, which I think are the 2 major.
One thing I was just thinking of is you saw the pictures of Huda and you saw the outfit that she was wearing. I forgot what they call it. But one of the things I asked Huda about was, I said, where do you get these outfits? And Huda said, well, you can go to the equivalent of a Walmart and get one, or you can go to a tailor and have them made to order. So what I didn't understand or know was that some of them go to pretty exclusive boutiques to actually go get them. So one of the things Huda told me is, as you're walking down the street, if you're an Emirati woman, you can tell to some extent how wealthy another Emirati woman is by looking at the covering that she's wearing.
You know what they do for water?
There's lots of it. I'm sure there's desalinization, I'm sure of it, in terms of the water from the Gulf, I would think. Mostly it was bottled water, but you could drink the water from the tap. That's a good question. We did not ask that question.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead. Ed.
well, a couple of questions. First of all, is there a particular head of all the Emirates, like a sheep that's the head of it? And the other two, do they have any royals there, just in case?
I think these Chabad rabbis can do it all.
Okay.
So I think that they're royal by day, they're, so they're able to function. There's 3,000 Jews
Is
living
the
there.
Emirates controlled by one particular person?
There's one head sheik, and then there's sheiks from all of the different, each of the nation states in the UAE. And then the pictures that we showed you were pictures of the royal family at that point, and they all sort of are interconnected with each other. How they get elected and appointed, I remember asking who did that, but I think
I think Huda said they're actually appointed.
Yeah, there's no free elections. Two questions. The Jewish community, where do most of them come from? And there, and second, the guest workers you say that live there, where do they live? Do they have their own apartments?
yeah, we drove through some of the, to answer your latter question about the guest workers, they live in urban areas. It's very hard to tell whether or not those living conditions were adequate, but they live in high rises, not very high rises, but maybe 4 or 5 story apartment complexes. We drove through a lot of those areas, a lot of laundry in the, hanging from the balconies and things like that. But again, what we learned is that the foreign workers, let's just say, again, the majority of the workers is Indian, Pakistani, Sri Lankan in that order. They're leaving poverty, they're leaving terrible working conditions. I think one of the individuals I talked to, cab driver, said the pollution was horrible where he came from in India. And to come to this clean area where you're paid on time, where you can make a living, they thought it was paradise. And it was a hard contrast, by the way. We struggled with that.
So I'll tell you one quick story. So I have a good friend of mine who's the chief of cardiothoracic surgery at one of the Toronto hospitals. And he was actually a guest worker in the United Arab Emirates for about a year. And he was actually brought there because one of the Emirati sheiks had a health condition that they thought might need surgery. And what ended up happening was he would perform maybe one surgery a month, but he was being paid a small fortune to be there. After a year, he got, and he was treated very well, and was given a beautiful house with a nice plot of land. But he said after about a year, he got bored. He said, I wasn't able to perfect my job, and I wasn't able to do as many surgeries as I need to do to stay proficient. So he gave up the house and the yard and the salary and the nice treatment to go back to Toronto. So that's one of the things they do. So there's different levels of guest workers that are brought into the Emirates.
In terms of the Jews that are there, a lot of Israelis, a lot of Brits, people from Australia, people from all over the world would go there primarily to work, I would think. That was the whole reason. I mean, all of the younger women that we talked to were there. They weren't there to find a husband necessarily. They were there to work. And they had heard good things about it, and sort of the word spread.
What about the educational system, the public, private, are men and women treated equally?
Yeah, question about are men and women treated equally. What about the educational system? Do you remember?
I think one of the things that Huda said was that the men and women were treated equally from an education standpoint. And she said that the government paid for the education. So if you could get into like Harvard, then the Emirati government would pay for your tuition and all of your costs to go to Harvard.
What about in this country?
Yeah, in terms of public education, I think the schools, if I'm not mistaken, are not mixed. I don't think the foreign workers and the Emiratis go to school together. Yeah, they go to different schools, for that. A lot of the Emiratis go to the States for college or for graduate school. So a number of the people that we talked to, came to the States, got their degree, and then came back. Yeah. In terms of the malls and things, there are these high-end malls with very expensive things. I don't think it's any different than New York City or Los Angeles or places like that. The hotel prices are high in season. We've of course got a great rate. If you checked now, it could be, for the hotel we stayed at the Marriott Marquis, probably, in the height of the season, it could be $400 or $500 a room. It was really luxurious. Great breakfast, by the way, very similar to Israel. So if you've ever traveled to Israel, you're staying in hotels, these amazing breakfast, same thing. Even, I think, a level higher in terms of extravagance. There's one station where they're making omelets, and there's every kind of yogurt you can imagine, and there's different coffees, and it was really wonderful. We felt cared for, safe. It was luxurious. It really felt like we were on vacation, on something.
Are there restrictions on Jews or businesses that participate in government?
They can't participate in government because only the Emiratis can participate in the government, but I don't think there's restrictions in terms of businesses. I think there's partnerships. But it's all controlled by the Emiratis, so if you develop a relationship with an Emirati, but I'm not sure they need capital. So if they're looking for business partners, they have plenty of capital, right? It comes from their family money, the oil money. So, but in terms of businesses, like for instance, all those kosher restaurants, yeah, no issues. There's all these chains that I talked about before. All of the high-rises, though, are built by the Emiratis, and there's like a couple of companies, and you could see their names on all, every time there's a crane, you could see that there was a company that was building it, they were Emiratis. So some Emiratis are into trade, some Emiratis own businesses, some Emiratis are into construction, so they all have different kinds of things that they do. Go for it.
I'm just curious, did Federation keep a security person with them?
No. So the question was, do we have a security person? No. Unlike in Israel, where you'll have a shomer or a guard, maybe who's on the bus with you the whole time, no security. Zero. It was just nothing, and we were told this ahead of time. So before we left, we had a meeting with a colleague of mine who ran a trip from the Chicago Federation. They were one of the first federations that went. By the way, we were the only federation of our size. There's 50 federations that are considered intermediate. We're the only ones who have taken a trip to the UAE, which we were pretty proud of. So we had to find out who else had done this. Chicago, of course, they did it first. And we met with this guy, John Lowenstein, and he gave us blow by blow how, and he's a modern Orthodox Jew. He told us he felt more comfortable wearing his kippah in the streets of Dubai than he did sometimes in Chicago. And again, no security. We didn't even see any security. I didn't think I saw a police officer once.
No.
So they're there, but they're hidden.
Do they have any elections? Any representatives of government?
I don't believe so. I think it's all controlled by the royal family.
Even on the city municipal?
Yeah, I think it all sort of trickles down.
You mentioned the Bedouins and the other situation where they're stoned all the time. Any sense of drugs or anything like that?
It's all illegal. So you got to be careful. Public intoxication is illegal. Probably spitting is illegal. We didn't know all those kinds of things, but it is one of those countries where you could literally eat off the sidewalk. Everything is clean. And we saw workers. I mean, near our hotel was a train station, and we saw workers, flooding to the train stations in the morning and in the afternoon, going back and forth to their homes and to work. And you felt like you were in India, in terms of just looking at the landscape of the people who were riding the trains, which was public transportation, which was pretty interesting. And when we went to the spice market, that was just a cool experience. It's all Indians that are running the spice markets, and you would go in and you would go into little shops and things like that. It's fascinating. Any other questions? Well, you've been a wonderful audience. Any closing comments?
I think Rob summed it up when he said you look out the window of our hotel and you see a 12-lane highway, and then you walk down to the street. And one of the questions that some of the people had when they would walk actually back to Chabad was it was about a 30-minute walk. And it was through some, what in the U.S. might be considered relatively shady neighborhoods. But in the UAE, it's like there's no problem, it's safe, nobody's going to come after you, nobody's going to approach you. Probably one of the cleanest and safest countries I've ever been in my entire life. I never felt uncomfortable. And one Nasra, I remember we went into the world's largest mall, and Nasra was wearing his kippah, and I said, do you feel comfortable doing it? He said, sometimes I feel more comfortable wearing it here than I do in parts of Tel Aviv. So, interesting.
They do not tolerate crowd. Yeah, got to play by the rules.